10 Ways to Die on Stage is the first solo show I ever made, and I made it back in 2007. So back in 2006, I was doing lots of kind of little skits for cabaret stuff in Bristol. And I started writing another one of these 3-minute long little skits, and it just kept on going and going and going and going. And that was the birth of the script for 10 Ways to Die on Stage. So it really came out of the process of just playing with little ideas. When I made it, the work said a lot about me wanting to take risks with my own autobiography, the level of honesty and truth I want to share with an audience. And I think that's something that's still there in the work, and I want to be playful with the connection with the audience. I think that's the two themes that are in my work, is honesty and playfulness, and I think those are the two main components of the style. 4 years later, and actually about 5.5 years after I started writing the piece, and unfortunately I'm a lot less naive, so that's changed, but I think I'm also I'm better at performing now than I was then, which is nice. So I recently answered this question on a website, the Asphalt website, about the idea that you can have ideas, or people who have ideas that kind of give birth to you. So if my idea-wise, my father would be Marcel Duchamp and my mother would be Andy Kaufman, or vice versa. I'm not quite sure which way around. But I think that because I'm massively over-ambitious about my own ability to achieve things, which is a wonderfully Kaufman-esque kind of thing. His thing is playfulness. Being really playful, taking lots of risks, and Duchamp's thing was inventiveness and looking at things in a new way, and that's, ideally, I'd love to be able to marry those two, though they're both already interlinked, really, to work on that kind of level. This show is directed by two people. The first one, Steve Ryan, a good friend of mine, and the second one, also a good friend, Holly Stoppett. Holly has been really useful in helping me make my solo shows, because she provides a format and a structure for playing in the space. Otherwise I'd just be sitting or standing and walking around in a room all by myself, and that just doesn't make sense to me. So she's great as the eyes of the audience and letting me know. I might think I'm doing thing A, but actually I'm doing thing B, and then she can help me to get to where I want to be going. So yeah, she's really useful, and she helps me a lot with being playful and creative. So 10 Ways to Die on Stage is the first part of a trilogy of shows, the Self trilogy, and the other two parts are the middle bit and Who Knows Where. And there's a whole series of triple meanings and identifications within the shows. So roughly speaking, it's kind of this childhood, middle age, death. It's beginning, middle, end. It's these kind of associations that I'm playing with. So kind of looking at the structure of a trilogy and within the trilogy. Bringing 10 Ways to Die on Stage to the Postcards Festival is just a great opportunity for me. It hasn't ever played in London, although it's gone around the rest of the UK. So it's it'd be great to take it to an audience in London and have people watch it. And it hasn't gone out enough, so yeah. There's lots of little sections within the show that I really like. I like the balloon bit. That wouldn't make much sense unless you come and see the show. So, but generally, I like meeting the audience. That's the nice thing, and playing with them, and when it works, really taking them on a little journey and going somewhere special. That's what I like about that show. If I was going to give one reason for coming to watch 10 Ways to Die on Stage, it would be that I think it's a beautiful and can be a really moving show, and also it really sets up the whole rest of my work with this trilogy. And I think, If you're interested in coming and seeing the second and third shows, which you might not even have heard about, but if you ended up being, then it would make sense to have seen the first one first.